Hello, damas y caballeros. Bienvenidos a otra edición con Real Talk with B. Sí, estoy mezclando aquí, porque eso es lo que está en mí en este día. Hoy, we will discuss a preview, or better yet, the preview of the NBA season for this upcoming year. I believe it's the 22-23 season, 21-22 season. Let's say 21-22 season for the purposes of this video. So as usual, per usual, and by the way, this is on IG, but I still do it on the YouTube channel / Real Talk with B, or more search for Real Talk with B because I don't have enough juju for that at this moment. So I'm gonna start with a word because we're talking about a season in the NBA, and we talk about seasons. I kind of used this yesterday in a previous video. It was kind of violent. It was just straight in the other language. So yeah, I'm going to keep it towards that. If you want to check it out, you go check it out. So we got the book of Daniel 2:21 that states, all right, and he changed the times and seasons. He removed kings and set up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that they know understanding. Hallelujah. All right. That's the first verse, okay? One more time. And he changed the times and seasons. He removed kings and set up kings. He gave wisdom to the wise and knowledge to those of understanding. And knowledge to them that know understanding. Yes, hallelujah. And for the purposes of this video, as well, I'm going to backtrack here too. Hallelujah. Once I can get the page turned here. Hallelujah. Alrighty. We've got 3-5 of Proverbs in this instance, and I'm going to activate these two in the atmosphere. It says, 3-5 Proverbs, trust in the Lord with all thy heart, and don't lean on thy understanding. Trust in the Lord with all thy heart, and don't lean on thy understanding. Now, for the purpose of the video, like it says in his book here in 3:6, you acknowledge him in all thy ways, and he shall direct their paths, 3:6. So I acknowledge him in this instance. But for the purposes of this video, since it's a preview video about me and my knowledge of the NBA, I will present to you the following thoughts about the NBA season as a whole. Now, the season just started, so bear with me here. But as I have in my sheet of paper, all right, we have the following. We have New York, Boston, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Miami, Charlotte, Chicago, Washington. Nothing in particular order. One more time. Eastern Conference. Knicks, Boston, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Miami, Charlotte, Chicago, Washington. Now let's start with the East, okay? Now the big scuttlebutt is Kyrie Irving. All right? The big scuttlebutt is Kyrie Irving. But let's be real. Kyrie right now is doing his thing, standing up the good fight. I will not mention what this is because, even me, I could be flagged in this part. But anywho, I feel Brooklyn's in the fight. I think, getting Patty Mills would help. But I think not having Kyrie, honestly, is a little bit much for them. So we shall see. You could usually win with two people in the NBA. But in this instance, it's going to be tough. So, yo encuentro eso medio difícil para ellos. All right. So we have Boston. They got mi paisano, Alfred Horford, back. Dominicano. He played yesterday well against the Raptors. They lost, to my surprise, to the Raptors. That's a team that lost Lowry. And but that team is definitely mature enough this year and a contender in the Eastern Conference, along with Miami getting Kyle Lowry. Because they're in Miami, they play defense. But between Boston, Brooklyn, Miami, that's kind of the meat. And then you got the Knicks. With Evan Fournier, Kemba Walker, the New York Vibe back in tow. It could be something to behold. So I mentioned about 4 teams right so far between the Knicks, Celtics, Brooklyn, and the Knicks, Celtics the Knicks, Celtics, Brooklyn, and Miami. And clearly, Milwaukee's the champion. But let's be real. New season. You know, as I said in the verses there, it is what it is, right? New season, so Milwaukee is. And then you got some sleeper teams in the Chicago Bulls with DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Lonzo Ball in the mix now. You got Vucevic out there. Atlanta had a nice run last year. I don't know if they can sustain it now that these teams are back. And the storyline, other than Kyrie Irving, is Ben Simmons' immaturity, as you see in 13:1 of 13:11 of Corinthians. It's in the book of Corinthians. I'm just gonna say it about I speak like a child, act like a child, but I put away childish things when I became an adult. Essentially, this gentleman right here has to be a little more professional in his approach to get what he wants. And I think that they can win in spite of his behavior because the enemy is a liar and he's manipulating them to get out, and he's being, as the book says, a child and not putting away. And one time became a man, you put away childish things. So he's not being a man, he's not being accountable to his team, he's letting his team down. So that's that in. So in the West, okay, we've got, the Lakers, we've got the Clippers, we've got Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets, we've got the Phoenix Suns with Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Dario Saric. We got Portland with Mr. Dame Time over here. Dame Time as I adjust the ring on my finger. Dame Time. We've got Mr. Dame Time over here with CJ McCollum. And then we've got for the purposes of we got Golden State, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson's back. They got Wiseman. But here's what I see. And then I got the honorable mention, we got San Antonio, like in the East. You got Washington and Charlotte. But anyway, and this is simple. Can the Lakers with Westbrook and Dwight Howard back in the fold and Anthony Davis? There was supposedly a scuttlebutt happening last game. I mean, it's getting pretty crazy, man. I mean, LeBron's up there in age. But I mean, this NBA, there's no decking people. There's no hard fouls. They get thrown out the game for just blowing on somebody, blowing air on them, not blowing like that. No, but blowing air. You got that, and you got the Clippers, Paul George. You got Kawhi. You've got that crew. Phoenix, okay. It's like Atlanta last year. Dame Time with CJ McCollum, I think it's run its course. Honestly, I'm liking Denver or Utah in this instance because they got big men. Because as a fan of the Spurs for many years, not that I'm trying to be biased in this video because I had to be neutral, the big man rules everything, baby. So you got Gobert, you got Jokic. So unless James Wiseman starts catching wreck, or Looney, turns back the clock, we got a situation where it looks like it's going to be Utah and Denver with LA and Golden State probably. And then you got New Orleans, a situation with Zion. Honestly, if his head was in New Orleans, literally, figuratively speaking, and he can stay in relative shape, he can compete in the East, but I think at this point it's a little rough for him. So, in San Antonio, they got Popovich, they got the whole system, but they've really become now really a small market team, especially when Kawhi put a gas chamber or whatever you want to call it, put a stranglehold on Pop. But I would say, out of all these teams mentioned, I think you're gonna have. I'm discerning at this moment. You're gonna probably have Boston, Milwaukee, the Knicks, and Miami. Brooklyn is up in the air because Kevin Durant is good and James Harden is good, but James Harden don't play D to save whatever. I don't know what to say it. And the sleeper in the East would probably be the Bulls because of Vucevic, as I just mentioned. And it comes to mind. I don't know if Markkanen stayed with them or he went. I think he went to Dallas. And by the way, now that I mentioned Dallas, I can't believe I didn't put them on there. Doncic is good. So we're moving to the West now. Those are my teams in the East. The sleeper in Chicago. But in the West, I'm also gonna mention Dallas. They got Porzingis. They got Doncic. They got the Gorman. They got the coach and Jason Kidd. But honestly, I don't think it makes much of a hay. That could probably be the third team here, Dallas, between Utah and Golden State, and the Lakers. That's probably make it four now, but you know what I'm saying. Because all these other teams, they took advantage of a lackluster season between what happened last year, Boston flaming out, and a lot of these teams in the West, like the Clippers, just didn't mesh. And then, you would think, I don't know, like it was the Lakers are Lakers, but even they had a rough go of it. Because I think the Lakers and the Clippers had a rough go of it at the end. So that's essentially the season preview for the NBA season. Muchísimas gracias por ver este video. Te agradezco mucho esto. See, estoy mezclando. I'm shifting. And this has been Real Talk with B for this transmission, para esta transmisión. Until next time, I know these videos can run a little long, but I'm trying to add a little pizzazz. I'm trying to add a little flavor. I'm trying to add a little juice to the flow here. So we shall see what happens in the future. But this just, came off the dome. I was like, yo, the season preview, man, we got to do it. So it's already started. For you hoop guys and you hoop women out there, enjoy. Until next time, there's been Real Talk with B. Blessings.